Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Edwin Robledo, and with me today is Jorge Garcia. We'll be conducting this demonstration today. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Edwin Robledo, and with me today is Jorge Garcia. We'll be conducting this demonstration today. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Edwin Robledo. Hi, Professor. Thank you for the salutations. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you for being here. Just to let you know, Jorge, Professor is here. Professor, could you remind me where you located? I know it's not in the. I'm pretty sure it's not in the U.S. Also, can you please let me know if you could hear me? I just want to do a audio check before we actually begin, if you don't mind. Oh, it's Thomas. Okay, I remember Thomas well. Sure. Well, the idea today was to be able to answer questions and how exactly is the procedure in which you could actually adapt some of the files that you maybe have um, design files that you've worked with Fusion 360. How is that bring those into uh, I'm sorry, files that you've worked on Eagle, and how
There you
do
go.
you bring those into Fusion 360? Sorry about that. I got that. When I try to chew gum and walk at the same time, it doesn't work. All right. Okay, so on the screen right now, I have the Fusion 360 layout. Um, if you have an entitlement, a subscription for Fusion 360, which is what you need to have Eagle, you're most probably familiar with this screen. The data panel is the panel where all your kind of all your data is going to be showing up. Okay, so if you have multiple projects or folders, it's best for you to always create a folder. Okay, so create the folder, and I'll just to today. And to open up the project, that folder that you just created, go ahead and just double click it. As you can see, it's blank. Now it's time for us to load your project. Remember, if you were using Eagle, and I'll bring up my folder now. If you have been using Eagle for a very long time, you'll remember that when you're working. So let me bring this in over here. Bring it into the other screen. Okay. So just remember that, and when you were working with your projects in Eagle, what was necessary was that you needed to have the board and the schematic in the same folder. Okay. Um, that's no longer true with Fusion 360. It doesn't work that way. Remember, Fusion 360 is cloud based. Therefore, um, there's no folder per se. It's all on the cloud the way it's organized. So having the schematic and the board as it is an Eagle, it just gets linked automatically as long as they have the same name. Just to have different extension, they were linked. So when you're an Eagle and you pull one board, when you pull the schematic, it will automatically want to pull the board. If you wanted to bring in the schematic, it would automatically pull the other one. So they would work in conjunction. Well, with Fusion 360, it does not work that way. It's not a lot of work. It's totally different. And actually, there's some advantages to the way it actually works in Fusion 360. And I'll get into that in a minute. And Jorge will correct me if I mess it up. So and I'm going to kind of leave this off to the side because I think we'll be needing it later on in a little bit. So the correct process would be from Fusion 360. I open up for those that are arriving a little late. I'm seeing the chat really growing a lot. What you're going to do is that you're going to create a brand new electronic document. Okay. And you're going to find that option under the pull down menu where it says File. You have two options here, electronic design or electronic library. We'll work with electronic library in a minute. Okay, let's go ahead and just click here where it says new electronic design. I'm just going to close the data panel, just because I want some more working area where I'm at, right? So I'm just closing it. I'm not deleting, I'm just closing it because I want this. When you look at our tutorials from now on regarding Fusion 360, we're going to be referring to this as our electronic document. Okay. Electronic document by default will not have a name. As you can see, it's untitled. Okay. Then you have a few icons. There's only 4 icons here. I either could create a brand new schematic, or this one right here, where I could create a brand new circuit board. Or I could actually link to an existing schematic. This schematic could be in one of my folders in Fusion 360, or I actually could locate it from my local drive. I'm going to go ahead and click on link because I actually want to bring it in. And I'm going to select the option, select from my drive. Now I'm able to navigate my hard drive. I usually put everything in my Eagle folder, as you can see here. I usually put everything in my Eagle folder, which is our default. I still work always there under projects and today's date. And I'm going to just bring in this one right here, the Pong right here that we have, the Pong. And I'm going to select that schematic. I'll click on open. Whole bunch of things are going to start happening here. As you can see, more tabs are going to open up, as you could see. So that brought up our schematic. If you remember in Eagle, the schematics usually appear on one of the panels on the side. Or they could actually appear on the bottom, but in Fusion 360, they're actually going to be appearing on the bottom, all your sheets. If you have multiple sheets, they'll appear right here on the bottom. I'll minimize this one because we only have one sheet. Now, if I was to go ahead and push a brand new board, switch to PCB document, it would actually generate a brand new circuit board for me, basically, with that board outline. And I'll go ahead and just create it. That way you can see what I mean. As you can see, all my components are off to the side, and we have that empty board, okay, and our data panels along the sides. Now, I could now start grabbing and placing my components into the design. But for this example, this is not what I want to do, okay? So I don't want to do it. But as soon as I push that circuit board over from the schematic over to the circuit board, notice that here it adopted that circuit board, and it links it. Now that circuit board is linked to the schematic. This is happening all in the background, as you could see. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and close this board because I don't want this board. This board is not laid out. I'm going to go ahead and close it. I'm going to say don't save. Okay. But I got to go to the document, and you see that it actually disappeared as well. Because since I did not save it, it's gone here. So now I'm going to go ahead and I want to link that board that I already have routed. So instead of selecting brand new PCB, I'm going to select reference a PCB document. I don't have it here on my cloud, so I'm going to click on select from my computer. And I'm going to go here and select Pong, and I'm going to select the board. Okay. It'll just take a few minutes. Okay. As you could see, now I loaded the board, which we already have it laid out. Okay. So we have our schematic, and we have our board, and we have our electronic document. We haven't saved it yet. As you can see, the name is untitled. So let me just go ahead and save it. I'll give it a name. Okay. Now my board and my schematic are linked. You could see that linking going on here. Now notice that my schematic has version 1 and it has version 2. If I was in that, the only reason they have the same version number for now is because I saved it here in the electronic document. But if I start making modifications on the circuit board directly, let's just make a small change here. I'll click on the move. Actually, I don't really need to click on the move. I'll just go ahead and move this battery there and move this battery up there just a little bit. Just want to make a small change here. Now I'll go ahead and save what I've done so far. Okay. Notice that now my circuit board has a version 2. Oh, my schematic remains at version 1. Okay. Just want to make sure that you understand. Doesn't mean that they're out of synchronicity. Their forward back annotation is live. It's just I made a modification to the board that had absolutely no reflection on the schematic. Therefore, it keeps that same version while the board layout now has version 2. Now let's take a look at what happens on the document. On the document, we also see that we have version 2 as well. It automatically updates. Oh, just go ahead and save what we've done so far from the electronic document. I like saving on the electronic document a lot because it kind of cascades to the schematic and to the board. So I kind of like saving here, but it's not necessary. You don't have to be working here. If you're on the schematic or you're on the board, you could actually do it. Now, the nice thing of actually here on the electronic document, if I could expand it and I could just take a look at the board. If you have multiple schematics, I could click on the sheet. And if I have multiple sheets, I'm sorry, not multiple schematics, multiple sheets, I would get a list of all my sheets here. And actually, I could see them independently, each one. Okay. Now, well, hi, Fox. How are you? Thanks for coming, man. Now, let's go back to the board. And let's go ahead and push what we've done in this onto our 3D PCB workspace now. So you'll notice that we have this icon. Now, this was created in Eagle. Okay. And the libraries that were used here are managed libraries, and everything has 3D models. I mean, I had 3D models this morning when I was practicing for our session today. So everything should come up with a 3D model. So let me go ahead and click on the View 3D PCB that we have here. Okay. You'll see it will now build on it kind of starts building the 3D PCB, as you could see, until it all comes up along. Okay. Now, in the 3D PCB, I do have the capability of moving parts here and have the router actually catch up with me. I'll just go ahead and demonstrate one of these. Now, for those of us that like to work with multiple monitors, we do still have that capability in Fusion 360. You notice that the electronic document automatically updated because I have that. I linked this circuit board, which I pushed to 3D, actually got automatically linked to the circuit board. And you'll see how all this cascades over on the electronic document. This is controlling exactly what's going on. So as you can see, now we have the top of the board and the bottom of the board. Okay. So this is constantly everything, any action that you're taking here is being closely monitored and linked on the electronic document. So it's always really important that when you open up your document, when you open up your projects, your electronic projects in Fusion 360, that you're always working primarily using the electronic document, okay, which is this one right here, okay? So we strongly recommend that when you're going to open up your board and your schematics, don't go straight to the schematic because it's not going to be automatically associated to that circuit board. It's not. If I was to double click on the schematic, it'll open up the schematic, but there's nothing associating it. There's nothing linking it here. The link between all this, as I'll steal a comment that Jorge that you like to use. The glue to all of this is the electronic document. Okay, what's keeping it all together is the electronic document. Okay. Now, if we're here on the electronic document on the board, actually, I want to go to the 3D part here and see if I can make this work here. Let's say, for example, I just want to go ahead and move a part here. Well, I like to move this component, and let me just move this one right here. Okay. I'm going to click and hold a tab for my circuit board. I'm going to resize this a little bit. Let me resize Fusion just a tad. Here, sorry about that. Hope I'm not confusing it. I got Eagle in the background. I got so many things running on the background. So let me just go there. Okay. So, and And I'm going to go ahead and grab my 2D PCB. I'm going to just move it off to the side a little bit. I'm going to get rid of my panels just to have some more size capability. So if you're working on two circuit boards, two monitors, you could, on the schematic or the board, you could actually drag that tab over if you wanted to, okay? Now, I'm going to go ahead and move this component, but I'm going to move this component within the 3D realm, which is this component that we're seeing right here. Okay. Let me get rid of the data panel there as well again. And in the 3D PCB, I'm going to go ahead and click on Move, and I'm going to select this component right here. Okay. Which is this one, RN2, RN2. Okay. I want it to update the PCB automatically. I do want it to update the PCB. So I'm going to select that option. And I also want it to update the reroute. I want it to automatically reroute any modifications that I do to this component. Okay. So let's go ahead and maybe let's stand this guy up. And let's go ahead and move it down here. Okay. And let's go ahead and click OK. You'll notice that now, as soon as we click OK, synchronization automatically begins. You notice that the component was in that vertical position there now, as you could see over here. And it automatically rerouted for me. And I'm seeing the same thing here on the circuit board as well. As you see, it's pretty nifty. It's pretty fast. And you're able to get kind of like, you get that 3D visual. So when it comes to 3D and Fusion 360 and the electronics and 2D PCB, you'll notice that they're linked together. So it's 100% functional. It's a functional link that's actually working together. Now, let me go ahead and link this back, put this tab back up because I want to go back to Fusion. Okay. And I'll bring up my tab again. Now, and let me go ahead and save what we've done so far because we have some changes. So we'll go ahead and save it. Now, if you wanted to use this design and maybe create an enclosure for it, if you want to go ahead and create an enclosure for this, you would do is actually you would go to Fusion 360 empty document design, and I'll go ahead and save. You have to give it a name before you could import anything here. I'll go ahead and right click. So remember, I have my 3D PCB, but I'm not going to do any modifications here. This is my 3D PCB. So I'm not going to be creating an enclosure or anything like that. This is, yes, it works between my 2D and my 3D. I can make modifications to the board outline if I needed to here. If it was required, I would go to the timeline down on the bottom. I would do a right click. I would say edit sketch. And I could go ahead and make modifications here to the board outline if it was necessary. If these once I make whatever modifications here, I could go ahead and finish that PCB and push, and this will automatically update in the 3D PCB as well as in 2D PCB. Okay. So if you need to make outline changes in in Fusion 360 on the board layout here or on 3D, it's all good. They always are in constant communication. Now, I want to take this and put it, make an enclosure for it. I don't make the enclosure here. I actually make the enclosure over here. Okay, so now I created a brand new design document in Fusion 360. Now I'm going to go ahead and import that circuit board over here. So I'm going to click on Insert into Current Design. Okay, I'll just keep that same position. I really don't need to change that position from there. And I'll go ahead and click OK. Okay. Now, for those of you that are very mechanically inclined, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a real quick enclosure here. That way I could demonstrate the way everything is linked together. Since I brought in the circuit board from the 3D PCB into a design, you notice that we get this link here, this little chain link here right there. That's just letting me know that this circuit board is actually linked from a different design. Okay, so this is linked to design. So modifications done to the link are going to automatically in real time update here. And I'll be demonstrating that now. So let's go ahead and build a real fast enclosure. Jorge, you let me know if I do it all wrong, because it's a really good chance I do it wrong. So give me a second. So
You're
I'm going to go.
so far, Ed. You're good.
I'll go ahead and select this plane, and I actually want to keep it away for like not so far, like 5 millimeters, and then I'll create a sketch on that plane. And I'm just going to go ahead and project the outline of this circuit board really quick. There. And did I get it right there? There. Yeah, there. I just want to project that over. Hopefully I didn't grab none of those holes. Yeah, I did grab all those holes. I don't want to grab none of those holes. I just want to grab the line. So let me undo. Let me try this one more time. Click. Project. Now yes. Select that. Like that. Select this. Okay, I'm going as fast as I can, guys. I only want to project the board outline. I don't want to project the whole thing. So I'm just selecting the outline here real quick. Okay. So now I have my profile created. Okay, I'll click on finish this task. I'll go ahead and let me edit it. I need to offset it a little bit, so let me edit that sketch. Let me go ahead and offset this. Okay, so it's not working the way I would want it to work, as it did this afternoon when I did this. Okay, click finish sketch. I'll go ahead and extrude this. Body, okay. And show. And we want to go towards the outside. So there you go. Did it really quick. Sorry about that. So let's say we have this enclosure done, and now we'd create the openings for the batteries and everything like that, and for these buttons and all that. So what I wanted to show you that if you could quickly create the enclosure, let me go ahead and save what we've done so far. Now, I want to show you now how everything cascades all the way from this board layout, 3D and 2D PCB. That's what I'm trying to demonstrate now. Okay, so let's go ahead and save. Do a lot of saving, as you could see.
When in doubt, save again.
Yeah, exactly. It's like measure, or it's like measure twice, cut once type of a theory. Okay, so I'm just going to make some modifications here to this component here. I'll just move this part right here. I just put it there. I'll put it right there where it goes. And just invoke the reroute. Select this component here. Okay, it rerouted it for me. Now, let's go ahead and push this over the 3D PCB. As soon as I save, it lets me, know, look, I need to synchronize with my 3D. So I select yes. Okay. Now let's go to the 3D PCB and see what's going on there. As you could see, my changes have not been adopted as of yet on the 3D PCB. Okay. So now I will just go ahead and select right here, view the 3D PCB. Now this is going to force those changes. Now, as you can see, it's resetting everything. It's recalculating. It's now going to force the changes that I did in my 2D PCB over to my 3D PCB. As you could see, it only took like a minute, not even a minute. And it actually updated the component. As you can see, its placement. Let me go ahead and save what I've done so far. And let's take a look at where I placed this in the enclosure that time and in the design, what happens there. So let's go here to the enclosure. And you'll see here that I still have the old version going on, but I have many alerts letting me know that there's some changes here. There's changes, letting me know there. I'm sorry. I want to just make sure that you see it. So it's alerting me, look, there's some changes that you need to catch up with there and there. Okay. So what I'm going to do is just going to go ahead and click there. That way it gets the latest updates. And just give it a minute and you'll see that the resistor network now will change its position and automatically update. The nice thing of this is that at no point in time I had to do absolutely zero file conversions. This was flawless. It works on the 2D PCB, works on the 3D PCB, and it works within wherever the design is being used in, it's working in there as well. So as you can see, it's all cascading over. The only what you need to have to be doing is that you may have to save. The only thing is to save, and it's ecological because the file needs to be written, and when you save is when it actually writes that file. That way, it could go ahead and do these transitions. Well, this kind of covers what I wanted to do today. I want to do one more. In regards of libraries. Okay, so let me show what's going on with the libraries. Okay, with Eagle, I'm sure that many of you have you been using Eagle for at least the last year or two, you'll be familiar with the term managed libraries. Managed libraries, the method by which it allows you to access your libraries remotely, also gives you the capability of assigning 3D models to your components. Okay, there's many ways of doing it through a package calculator. You could assign step models to it, or you could access our repository of 3D models for each component as well. Well, in Fusion 360, the Fusion 360, we can access managed libraries. Okay. And that's why I just wanted to bring that up here real quick. So the add command, when you're adding components to your board, you're going to be clicking on the add dialog box, which is, I'm sorry, not the add dialog box, the add command, add part. Okay. And you'll see that the libraries are categorized by, these are some of my local ones. These are made by our Fusion Electronics team. And we, among us, between the teams, we have some managed folders in which we share our libraries as well. If you want to access additional libraries, you can. So if you're a strong Eagle user and you have, not a strong Eagle user, if you are a Eagle user and you have been using managed libraries, you have not been wasting your time, is what I'm trying to say. Your managed libraries are here. So the way you actually access them is that you're going to click here where it says Open Library Manager. Okay. Of course, the design automatically would tell me in my design which libraries we're using this design. If I don't have that library in use, it'll let me know. If I do, if it has access to that library, it'll come up here as well.
Yeah, and
Now,
if you're in Windows, that button will be on the right side. So just a little difference there between Windows and Mac. The Open
Which
Library
one? The
Manager
open library is on the right-hand side?
is on the
Okay.
right-hand side next to Cancel and OK on
Oh,
Windows.
okay. Okay. So okay. So it would be somewhere here, I guess, over here. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Very well. Thanks, George. You notice that we have 3 tabs. And if you're a Eagle user, you're used to this. So these are the libraries that I currently have in use, and these are my available libraries. If you have manage any libraries, or you are a member of a managed folder, or either you manage a managed folder or you're a member of a managed folder, those libraries will show up here as well. Okay. So all that will come up here. So you won't lose none of your libraries as long as it's a managed library. Okay. Now, at this moment, I'm not able to edit a managed library and keep it managed. So if I do select a library, let's say, for example, any of these demo libraries that we have here, click on one of our libraries and we select edit. Give me a second, it's not downloaded. So I just select this one, DesignCon, and I select edit because I want to edit that library. I'll go ahead and click OK here. Let me click cancel here. Now I'm in the editor mode for that library. So this is the content of that library. Okay, so here's all those aspects of that library. If there's 3D models assigned to it, they will actually show up as well. So everything comes in, but for now, what I don't have is we don't have a way of pushing this back to a managed library, and that's coming really soon. Okay, that part is coming really soon. So we could use managed libraries. Okay, right now we could use our managed libraries. We could access the managed libraries, but for now we cannot really edit managed libraries, and that's going to change really soon, like really, really soon. So hang on, it's coming along really quick. Okay, so but let's say, for example, you don't have managed libraries. You have like local libraries. The appropriate way of handling that would be to go ahead and I'll create a folder. And I'll be really honest with you, Jorge. I don't know how you're handling your libraries in Fusion, but I actually have a folder where I only have libraries. That way I know when I need to use a library, I know where it's at. So I've created one folder and I dump all my libraries there. I don't put them nowhere else. Because if I put my libraries in different folders, then I kind of get lost where they're at. So I put all my libraries in a specific folder where I only keep my libraries at. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go ahead and upload my library, which I have a local library in Eagle. I'm going to click here where it says upload. Okay, I'm going to click on select files, and let me go here. Okay, and I'll select this library. Select upload. You notice it automatically recognizes it as a library, as you can see here. So you don't have to create a library document, which would be right here, new electronic library. You don't have to create that. Fusion 360 automatically recognizes the libraries when they're uploaded. Okay.
Yeah, just keep in mind that right now, if you upload one, like Ed was mentioning, if it's one of your personal managed libraries, right now it won't bridge back, but we're working on that.
Correct. Okay. So now if I double click on the library, it will automatically open up the Fusion 360 component editor, which is really good. There's just a few parts I need, but it's an excellent editor as well. A bit more graphical than what you're used to Eagle, but it works really great. So you remember that in Eagle you have like the content screen. So here it's more or less the same thing. So you see all your schematic symbols, you see your footprints, you see your devices, and you have some. In this case, this was a local library. I didn't have no 3D models to assign to it. So I could go to my symbols and just double click them and you bring up the symbol editor. My footprints is the same way. And I bring them up here as well. And I could just make any modifications to it here. And on the footprints, I could actually do a right click here and say, you know what, I want to create a package from, actually, this is not a good example. Let me get another example, which makes a little more sense. Okay, let's say the 0603. So I could just right click it and select create package from footprint. Okay, it's going to create a package, which is a 3D model 0603. And then right here, and then I could invoke the template and select, here I'll select resistor, and then just put in the dimensions here, and then I could assign a 3D model to it. Actually, it's a little too big, but for sake of speed, I just wanted to make it really quick. Click finish. Okay, now this component has a 3D model assigned to it in Fusion 360. So now if I start using this library or this component in Fusion and my schematic on my board, now when I go to 3D PCB, these resistors will actually be mapped out with the 3D model. Okay, so this takes care of every aspect I wanted to introduce in regards of bringing in or adopting Fusion 360 as the application for you to start working on your circuit boards. As you see, it's pretty straightforward. Fusion 360 uses the large icons on the top. Make sure that you always use the drop menu. The tabs actually show you use the tabs. It brings you to the different commands as well. Let me see what else. Nice tricks that they have is that, let's say, for example, if there's a command that you like to use constantly, right here on display, you could assign it to F12. You just click on the three dots. So I could pin it to my toolbar. I could assign it a shortcut. At any point in time, if you want to search a command, you could use a command line, or just hit S for search and type in the commands that you're looking for right here as well. I think A is for the add dialog. Yeah, A automatically, it's a hotkey, so it automatically brings the add dialog box as well. So there's many hotkeys already mapped out, or you could just go ahead and assign yours. If you want to create a shortcut for that command, you could just click there, hold on the three dots, and either create a shortcut for it or pin it to the dialog to the toolbar as well. This covers everything I wanted to do today. Hopefully everybody understood exactly what's going on. It actually works really well. Make sure that you have reliable backups or whatever you plan to use before you totally commit. But that's just for anything. Even for PowerPoint, I do that. I make sure I have backups before I actually commit. So no matter what you do, it's always have a reliable working backup before you actually commit to any updates to any of this. Fusion 360 is the electronic section. They're working really hard, diligently, and making this very, very stable. And I'll be really honest with you, it's become really stable, works really well. The routing capabilities, one of the routing capabilities they added, Jorge, the other day, I don't know if you've experimented with it. Let me see if I can show it really quick. It's pretty neat. Let me do a rip up here really quick. Go to design and do a rip up all really quick. I'll move this part out of the way. And so they added this here. It's called Quick Write Guided. They actually just added this the other day. So I could just select a group here, do a right click, and then I could tell it, I could kind of influence the path it's going to be taking before it actually goes into the pads. And as you could see, it kind of, let me see if I could do it one more time. It took the shortest path possible. So let me try it one more time. Let me put this guy in the way here. And put that here. Okay, so let me do quick route guided. Select all these guys here. I've done something that is not working correctly, so I got to look into it. I did a video on this the other day, and it worked really well.
I
So
mean, the way you have it set up, that's kind of the only way it has, because it's too tight, so it can't really get all the
okay,
signals to go around.
It's because of the
Yeah,
condition it's located at. Okay.
yeah, but it's fine. It's still getting it done. You know.
Yeah. Oh, another thing I wanted to show on this feature. I haven't done it many times. Let me just rip up all. So the nice thing is that now on the quick route, when you use any of the quick route features, let's say just the regular quick route, now you have the choice of assigning a particular width. Before it would just automatically adopt the DRC width. So now you actually have control of the width. And with quick route guided, you actually can determine the width and the clearance between the traces.
Nice.
That's it's actually really, really, really cool. Um, and since we're here with our friends on here, and I hope okay. So let's try this one more time, Jorge. I don't know why. I just want to try this one more time, man, because I made this work so many times earlier. It just might be the conditions, as you could say. So I'll try one more time. Oh, okay. So I need to experiment with that more. Now, another thing I wanted to bring up was that in the library editor, if you're going to be using the package calculator, they've added a couple new assets to it, which is very, very neat. I was talking to the developer not too long ago in this regards. So now you also have some hardware has been added. So we have the female to female standoffs, and we also have the male to female standoffs as well, which I think is pretty neat. And then there is the nylon connector. If you're going to be attaching like a circuit board to another circuit board, if it's going to be attached, so you could actually we have that nylon. And here's what you're going to see on the circuit board. Of course, it's going to just create the hole, of course, but you will get this 3D model as well. And of course, once you select it, based on the specification sheet wherever you're buying them, just type in the measurements here. And the same actually happens with the standoffs. The standoffs, you actually tell it the type of thread it has, and it will just build it as well. As you can see, I experimented with this. I actually did this one, the M305, and it get you that hardware as well. Well, that completes our demonstration I wanted to do today. Oh, and I really wanted to give props because they added the attributes now show up when you're doing the 3D modeling. The name and the value attributes actually show up in the 3D model, and that's really excellent because now in space you know exactly where you're at. So thank you everybody for joining us. I really enjoyed doing this demonstration. I've been wanting to do this demonstration live. We Jorge and I we did put some video tutorials on it on our channels on Eagle as well as in Fusion. But I really wanted to do kind of a live one. That way you understand exactly, what are the exact same steps that you need to follow. So hopefully this recording will be of benefit to all of those that are considering adopting on Fusion or start um, exploring and using Fusion for your PCB designs. Any questions that I should address or any other comments, Jorge, you think that came up?
No, I've been keeping up with it on the.
Excellent. So, there are two forums. Just to let you know, there's two forums for. Let me bring up this as well. For those that maybe not aware of it, so Jorge does a lot of the participation on the forums. And lately I've seen a lot of activity by members of the developing team have been participating quite a bit on the forum. So we have the Eagle forum, as you could see there. Let me see. I see a chat here. And then we also have the other forum, which is primarily for those that are using Fusion 360, the whole electronic editor portion. So I click on forum. I select here where it says Fusion 360 Electronics. And so we have two forums going on. Okay. So this one is dedicated for those that have questions in Fusion 360 Electronics, and then we have the Eagle one. So we're monitoring both of them. So I just want to let you know that we have both of those available to you. Okay. Well, everybody, thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure, an honor. If you have any questions, just bring them up over here to the forums, Join us there. And everybody have a great day. It's been a pleasure.
Have a
Thank you
great
so
day,
much.
everyone.
Thank you, Jorge. Thank you for everything.
Bye, everyone.